Welcome to Football with Cheese. So in today's video, we're going to recap the draft of each of the four NFC North teams, and we'll do the AFC North next. So make sure you are subscribed so you never miss a video. Let's just get right into it. We're going to go with Detroit Lions. That's the Bengals. There we go. Detroit Lions. All right. Lions draft was probably a little underwhelming. So they went with Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle, Ohio State, in the first round. A little high, but I get it. When Aleem McNeil, their best run-stopping defensive tackle, got hurt, their defense was not the same. Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson was also hurt. They had a lot of injuries on the defensive line. This gives them good depth. And if you play Tyleik Williams and Aleem McNeil on rundowns next to each other, it's going to be pretty tough to run against the Lions. And we talked about it in my Eagles Effect video that a lot of teams are trying to get more physical like the Eagles are, and this will definitely help with that. Same with Tate Rutledge, guard from Georgia. A little high for him, but they really need a starting guard, and he's a good fit for their scheme. Where they went wrong to me was here in the third round. So, get this out of here. So, Isaac Tesla, wide receiver, Arkansas. He is very raw. He needs a lot of work. He's extremely athletic. He's fast. But he wasn't very productive at Arkansas. And they traded up, gave up pick 102 and 2 future third-round picks. That's a ton to give up for a project player. I did not think Tesla would go before the 4th round. Very perplexing. Definitely one of the most questionable picks in this entire draft. Miles Frazier, 5th round. That's good value. His technique can be pretty sloppy, so he needs some work, but as far as talent, that's really good value in the 5th round. Ahmad Hazenain, interesting pick. He's the first player from Egypt to play in the NFL when he does make his debut. He did not work out well, but he's a high character, high motor guy. He'll fit well in the Lions scheme and locker room and probably play a lot of special teams. And then here around 7, Dan Jackson and Dominic Lovett from Georgia. Both of them will have to make it on special teams. Majority of picks in the 6th, 7th round, it's all about special teams. So I'd say below average draft. My biggest question mark was Isaac Tesla. Probably best value was Miles Frazier. Let's do Minnesota next. They had traded a lot of future picks in last year's draft to make sure they got J.J. McCarthy, and they traded up for Dallas Turner. So they didn't have a lot of picks. They could have moved out from 24. The rumor is the Giants offered him the same deal that they did with the Texans a pick later. 2 third-rounders, a 3rd rounder this year, a 3rd next year. If you saw my video breaking down the 1st round, I thought the Houston should have gotten a lot more than that, especially moving up in the 1st round for a quarterback. So I get why the Vikings did not move back. And they must have really liked Donovan Jackson. I like him too. They needed a left guard. He's plug and play. If one of their tackles gets hurt, he can fill in there. We saw that at Ohio State when Josh Simmons got hurt. And Minnesota now has upgraded all 3 interior spots. They could have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. That will really help out young quarterback J.J. McCarthy. You got Will Fries at right guard, free agent signing from the Colts. Also from the Colts, they got Ryan Kelly, who plays center, and now Donovan Jackson. And you already have 2 good tackles. Darisaw at left tackle, McNeil at right tackle. This offense could be really good. If McCarthy plays well, this could be one of the better offenses in the NFL because we know they have good receivers and they have T.J. Hawkinson. So I like this pick. I thought he'd go 1st round. Higher than consensus, but I understand. Ty Felton, that's good value. 102nd pick. He is undersized, but he runs good routes and he's really fast. So he could be a potential deep threat. Not too sure about this Tyrion Ingram Dawkins. Say that 5 times fast. He's kind of a tweener. More of an undersized interior edge rusher. I would have preferred Neas Peebles here, who went in the 6th round. But Tyrion, maybe he can put on some weight. You know, he's about 280 pounds. Maybe he can get up to 300 because he is 6'5". I thought he was more of a, 6th or 7th rounder. They took him with the first pick of the 5th round. And then Kobe King and Gavin Bartholomew. It's all about special teams with them. Bartholomew could probably play some fullback as well if you need that. But like I said with Detroit, it's usually about special teams here at the end of the draft. All right. Let's go Green Bay Packers. So, I am a Packer fan, as you know. I was underwhelmed by this draft. Matthew Golden, I get why they made the pick. They needed receiver help. He's high character, great work ethic. He played amazing down the stretch against Georgia in the SEC title game, against Arizona State. But he wasn't really great leading up to those games. Maybe Isaiah Bond getting hurt made him step up and become the man. And he did. If you get that guy, great. I just thought Golden was more of an early second rounder in this draft. And he ran a 4.29, but he doesn't play that fast in the field. He's not a true deep threat. And I also believe his best spot will be slot, and that's where Jaden Reed plays. So this draft was not really great for Jaden Reed. They also used him as a gadget player, and they took a gadget player in the third round. But the Packers, they had a plan in this draft. We're looking ahead to 2026 because they drafted players at positions that are free agents at the end of the season. 3 offensive linemen are free agents. They drafted 2. 2 wide receivers, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, are free agents. They drafted 2 at their first 3 picks. To me, their big need was defensive line and just a playmaker on defense, which they did not address. They're going to be better on offense, but not necessarily on defense. Anthony Belton, I thought was a reach. I had him rated in the 70s. He's a very physical left tackle. We talked about the Eagles effect in that video. I will link it in the description. He's big and he's got length to stay at left tackle, but he's got heavy feet. He's going to have trouble with speed rushers. Dane Brugler said he played at 360 pounds last year. He came to the combine at 336. That's where he needs to be, about 330, 335 pounds. So hopefully it's not a conditioning issue. But I think he's going to play right guard for them this year. He'd be an upgrade over Sean Ryan. Both tackles, Zach Tom and Rasheed Walker, are free agents. And you really can't pay them both. Because if Dan Moore, signed by the Titans away from Pittsburgh, gets $20 million a year, Rasheed Walker is bound to ask for 24. Zach Tom might ask for 26 or 28 million a year. You can't pay them both. I think they're going to prioritize Zach Tom, the right tackle. So maybe Belton take over for left tackle next year. If not, I think you got a pretty good right guard. The biggest problem with it is just there were better players on the board, but it wasn't a great offensive line class. They got overdrafted. We'll talk about another prospect when we talk about the Bears in a second. The big question mark for me, though, was Savion Williams, wide receiver, TCU. He's not really a wide receiver, to be honest. He's more of a running back, gadget player. In the third round, I'm trying to get a starter, not some gadget player that's going to touch the ball 4 to 6 times a game. His comp was Cordero Patterson, which makes a lot of sense. Both of them don't run good routes. They basically run the 9 route, the deep route, or the over route across the field. That's basically what they both run. But they're very athletic. They're great after the catch. That's why Savion Williams, he's great at the Wildcat, gadget plays. He breaks a lot of tackles because he's 6'4", 220. And maybe he can be a return man. But he only has 14 career kickoff returns. So he wasn't really used there. He'll be used in the red zone a lot because he can run the ball, because he's good at contested catches. But he really doesn't track the ball well. If the ball's not thrown right to him, he's probably not going to come up with it. If it's thrown right to him, he'll go up and get it. He might be the best receiver in this class at contested catches, but his ball tracking skills are pretty poor, and he had way more drops than he should. It's almost like he catches the ball better if it's contested than if he's wide open. I thought he was more of a 4th or even 5th round pick. Yes, he's athletic. I wonder if Matt LaFleur has a plan for him. He was pushing for it, but Jalen Royals is available. You can use him as a gadget player. You can use him in the return game, and he's just so much better wide receiver, better route runner. It just doesn't make sense to me. Right now, he's an athlete. He's not a football player. We'll see if they can get something out of him. I hope I'm wrong. Barron Sorrell, Edge, Texas, good value there. Some people had him in the 3rd round. He doesn't have the quickest get off or the best length, but he's high character, try hard, good against the run, good pass rusher. He'll be a rotational edge rusher for them. Maybe never a starter, but that's a good value there. And Colin Oliver, he is maybe 6'1", 240 with short arms. He doesn't have the size. He doesn't have the length, but he is speed rusher all the way. He's a designated pass rusher, and he has speed. Oklahoma State basically built their defense around him, and they struggled when he got hurt. I think he only played 2 games, or he would have gone higher than this. Warren Brinson had size and length. Wasn't the most productive. He's better at pass rushing than he is at run stopping. I thought he was more of a priority free agent, but he has upside, so I get it. It's just a shame they didn't draft a defensive tackle before the 6th round. Micah Robinson, fast and great tackler. He ran a 4.3, and he hardly ever missed a tackle in college. He's going to be the gunner on special teams. All about special teams. And then John Williams, I like this pick. He was a tackle at Cincinnati. Didn't give up a lot of pressures. He's a little raw. He needs some technique work, but I think he can develop into a starting guard. One more team left, Chicago Bears. Bears had a real up and down draft. Colston Loveland, very good pick. A tight end that can stretch the field is hard to find these days in the NFL. And Colston Loveland can do that. He can run routes. Caleb Williams has to love this pick. And then they got Luther Burton in the second round. This is a boom or bust pick. If you get the 2023 version of Luther Burton, he would have been a top 15 pick. Then this might be one of the best steals in the draft. He is probably the best receiver in this draft after the catch. He is so explosive. He's good at tracking the ball. The big problem was he disappeared in some games. He played great one week, and the next week he just disappeared. I don't know if it's an attitude thing. And he's got some family issues. His mom and girlfriend apparently are managing him, and some teams knocked him down the board or even took him off the board because of it. Apparently it's not a great situation. I don't know too much about it, but I saw it multiple places, so I felt I should mention it here. Ozzie Trapillo, offensive tackle. Once again, just like Anthony Belton, offensive linemen get overdrafted. And same case here, I would have taken him a round later. He's 6'8" and doesn't have the best length. And he only played right tackle at Boston College. What the Bears needed was a developmental left tackle to eventually replace Braxton Jones. Like a Charles Grant would have been a better pick from William & Mary. Could have traded back and maybe gotten him in the 70s or 80s. So I didn't love that value. Jamar Turner's another one. Probably could have gotten a little bit later than this. He's undersized, about 290, but he's a good pass rusher. Just felt like he was more of a mid to late third rounder. And then this is the most perplexing pick they made. Ruben, I don't even want to say that name. Hypolite. I thought he was a priority free agent. I did not see a lot of people with draftable grades on him. Fourth round, there were much better players. Their next two picks were much better prospects, Zaw Frazier and Luke Newman. Zaw Frazier is 6'3", athletic, and fast. Doesn't have the best frame, not so good in zone, much better in press man, but good value in the fifth round, should play special teams. Luke Newman needs to get stronger, but I think he could develop into a starting guard. So I like the value there in the fifth or sixth round. And then the running back from Rutgers, I'm not even going to try to say his name. Another player I thought would not get drafted. He's one of those short, compact, one cut and go. Maybe he's a return man on special teams. Who knows? I just thought the Bears would address running back earlier. Were they picked here in the fourth round? They could have had a really good running back. Let's take a look. Picks. Round 4. Taking forever. So they picked him at 130. 132. Okay. I've got Jalen Royals. The Bears could have had Jalen Royals. Thank God. Q Robinson, Alec Ayomaner, Joshua Farmer, and of course Jalen Royals all could have gone day 2. Way better picks than Ruben. I'm not even going to say his name. And let's look at the 5th round real quick. See what running backs were still available. Jordan James, Oregon, Jaden Blue, DJ Giddens. Oh, DJ Giddens would be such a perfect fit in that Ben Johnson Lions scheme. Oh my gosh, Bears should have taken DJ Giddens. Glad they didn't, but wow. Okay, so that is the NFC North. So none of them got overall great grades. There's a guy out there named Renee something. Based on draft grades, he puts together a consensus draft grade, and no one in the NFC North was in the top 18. I think Bears were at 19th. That was the highest. So none of these drafts look great on paper. But I'll say this in every draft recap video. The grades do not matter. And I don't think the Lions or Packers necessarily got a lot better. But I could be wrong. And 2 years from now, they could have the 2 best drafts of anyone. You just never know. So that's why I do not actually do grades. I just kind of recap them. So make sure you are subscribed so you never miss a video. Hit the bell for notifications. Like this video. Likes help so much. Comment down below, which NFC North team do you think had the best draft? Which one do you think had the worst draft? I'm going to do the AFC North next, so look out for those videos. Check these out if you have not, and I will see you in the next video.